What's up, everybody? So in this video, we are going to do a grudge match between two of the top Oregon Coast cities. And it might be two cities that you're thinking about and weighing the pros and cons of each. It is a grudge match between Brookings, the southern Oregon Coast king, and Newport, the heart of the Oregon Coast on the central Oregon Coast. Newport versus Brookings. And we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living on the Oregon Coast, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market on the coast. My name is Eddie, and I get contacted all the time by people just like you looking to make a move or having questions or inquiries about the coast. So whether you're moving in 9 days, 9 months, or 9 years, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email so we can make sure to accommodate your real estate goals and get any questions answered, help you make a smooth move to the Oregon Coast. Well, we are going to get after our grudge match of Newport versus Brookings right now. First thing we're going to talk about is location. On the Oregon Coast, you are not going to beat these two towns when it comes to scenery, location, and beauty. On the central Oregon Coast, which really spans from just south of Tillamook all the way down to about Florence, is the central Oregon Coast, also known as Lincoln County, Oregon. That's really the county that spans the central Oregon Coast. You have these geographical features along the Oregon Coast that kind of separate the different regions. I'd say from north to south, you've got the northern coast, which goes from Astoria down to about Tillamook. You have a geographical feature called the Columbia River on the north, and on the south, I would say you've got probably the three capes. That's probably the separation point. When you get to the southern side of the Cascade Head, you go south, and Cascade Head is just north of Lincoln City. You go all the way south to Cape Perpetua, and that is really the central Oregon Coast from Cascade Head to Cape Perpetua, or maybe you could say Cape Lookout, which is just north of Pacific City, to Cape Perpetua, which is just south of Yachats. Then you go from Florence all the way to the southern Oregon tip of the Oregon Coast, which is Brookings. And that's where, Oregon and California meet. Those are the three distinctions of the northern, central, and southern coast. So today we're going to go, what is the difference between Newport and Brookings? Well, Newport, right there along the Yaquina River on the central Oregon coast, where Highway 20, the highway that goes from Newport all the way to Boston, and Highway 101 that goes all the way from Canada to down through Baja, Mexico. That is where those two major veins of the United States roadway meet in Newport, right there on the beach, just south of the Yaquina Head Lighthouse. That's Newport. It's a town of about 10 to 12,000 people. It's really being blended in. It's in the county. It is the county seat of Lincoln County. Lincoln County has about 45,000 residents when you factor in all the different towns and different unincorporated areas along the different paths. Whereas Brookings on the southern Oregon coast, it's about 20 minutes from the California coast. It is on the Chetco River. It is just south of Gold Beach by about 30 minutes. It is really probably the best place weather-wise, which we'll get into, but the location of it on the southern Oregon coast, closest to California, that is where it's located. It is going to be, along that banana belt section of the Oregon coast, making it an exceptional spot when it comes to scenic coastline. It's along the Boardman Scenic Corridor there. You have just to the north of it from there to about Gold Beach, Pistol River. That is really where you're going to get the beautiful Boardman. You've got all those rock features jutting out of the ocean. That is where Brookings is located on the southern Oregon coast. What gets we could talk about location, what gets the edge here in our grudge match? I would definitely say that it has to be Newport. By the way, I want to just say this. I did a video before on Brookings. It was the Brookings pros and cons, and I said Bandon a ton of times, and it just, those two, I know where Bandon is, I know where Brookings is, I've been there tons and tons of times, but sometimes they get mixed. So when I say, if I do say, and it doesn't get corrected, Bandon, I mean Brookings. Anyways, Brookings is remote. It's on the southern tip of the Oregon coast, and there's really only one way in, one way out, and it's going to take a long time to get there. No matter where you're going. I mean, to the south, there's not a lot south of, you've got Crescent City, you've got Arcata, you've got that whole region, Humboldt. But I mean, that is remote in itself. And then south of that, I mean, you're really going all the way to, you know, Santa Rosa or the Bay Area, which we're talking 5 hours, 6-hour drive. When you're in Newport, you have, you know, a 45-minute drive to the Willamette Valley. The Willamette Valley is the highest populated area in Oregon. You've got Albany, Corvallis, Eugene, Salem, the capital of Oregon, all within 75 to 90 minutes. And when you're talking about Brookings, when we're talking 4, 5, 6 hours from anything, you know, it's about a 2.5-hour drive to Grants Pass, and Grants Pass is not a really big city in Oregon. Medford's another, you know, 45 minutes south of that. So you're talking 3 hours just to get to Medford, 2.5 hours to get to Grants Pass. So that's why I definitely have to give the location and geography vote to Newport on this one. Okay, attractions and activities. I would say, you know, we're going to talk about Newport first. Newport, you know, it's a haven for those people interested in marine life, oceanography, fishing, and outdoor water activities. There's just so many things. You've got the Oregon Coast Aquarium, you have the Hatfield Marine Science Center. It is the location of the West Coast fleet of NOAA. They're in Newport on the South Beach side. You've got, you know, Yaquina Head Lighthouse, you've got Yaquina Bay Lighthouse, you've got the Yaquina River, the Alsea River, you've got the Alsea, I mean, that's Walport, but it's, you know, 10-minute, 15-minute drive to there. You've got, obviously, the ocean, everybody has that. But when you're talking about attractions, you know, I think about eating. There's so many restaurants in Newport that you've got there's just, I could list them on and on. Local Ocean, Clearwater, Ocean Blue, Georgie's, you know, the Tap House. And I'm just, you know, scanning around. There's so many different awesome restaurants, places I'd go all the time that are just amazing. You've got, you know, shops, galleries, lots of things to do in Newport. So attractions, you've got the Seafood and Wine Festival, you have sporting events, you have just a lot of stuff there in Newport. And then, you know, things to do also, if you do like crabbing, fishing, hunting, I think anywhere on the Oregon coast is good, but Newport definitely, you know, within a 10, 15, 20-minute drive, you've got tons of options for that stuff. So that's Newport. Brookings, you know, it's celebrated for its breathtaking coastal landscape. I mean, you have the Samuel H. Boardman corridor there, the Scenic Corridor, and that is one of the most amazing drives you could ever take. Obviously, you have to stop and go over, but we've got a ton of footage of different rock formations there that are really, they truly are unparalleled. I mean, there's different places, you know, you've got Cannon Beach, it's got some haystack rock type of feel, you got Pacific City, you've got the different capes, you've got, you know, there's a lot of different, I mean, there's so much character on the Oregon coast. I don't want to limit it, but Brookings, it might be in the, you know, top 2-3 places that you go visit to see some of the, it might be number one. I mean, the views there are unbelievable. They're just absolutely unbelievable. There in Brookings, you got the Chetco River, so you got the same, I mean, it's not as picturesque and beautiful as Newport, but it's definitely, it's a river, you know, it's got the banana belt there, which I've mentioned. But things to do, places to eat, I think it's going to fall short of Newport there. So that's why I think attractions and activities, there are some good things that go on in Brookings, but it's going to fall short of Newport. That's why I've got to get the edge of attractions and activities to Newport. Number 3 on our list is the economy and industry. We're going to start with Brookings since I've already started with Newport twice. Brookings, it's going to have, I mean, both towns are going to be, tourism is going to be something that they're definitely focused on. Tourism, if you're not focused on tourism on the Oregon coast, then you're not doing your job as a promoter of your city. So I would say definitely tourism. There's some state, local jobs there in Brookings. There's also, the fishing industry. It's one of the major, I'd say, home ports on the southern Oregon coast for the fishing fleet there. You've also got the timber industry, which is kind of a flailing thing in some portions of Oregon where it used to be a thriving, very important component of Oregon's economy. But it definitely, logging is a part of the Brookings economy and industry. But I would say, there's not, it's the service industry, there's just not a ton that you can do there when it comes to jobs. There is the Pelican Bay prison there in I believe it's in Crescent City, California, which isn't far south of Brookings. So those are some things that boost the economy. When it comes to Newport, it is the county seat, so you're going to have the city of Newport jobs. You're going to have the county, which I believe is like, the county itself, Lincoln County. It has a budget of $50 million. That's definitely going to do things. You got tourism, obviously. You've got state jobs, because it's the county seat and the location of it. You have commercial fishing. You have, there's a huge mill in Toledo, which is only 6 miles away. You have NOAA, which is, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Their whole fleet is in South Beach. Everything that it takes to, the fishing industry in Newport is strong. You've got crabbing, shrimping, mid-water, bottom water, whiting, all these types of things there in Newport that is very important to the economy. And you've got all the secondary and tertiary jobs that go along with that, everything. You've got your fish plants, you've got your trucking, you have, restaurants, service industry. So, when it comes to economy and industry, I don't even think it's a competition. I don't have the exact numbers, but Newport's definitely going to win there when it comes to the economy and industry. So let's go to number 4, weather. The weather in Newport is very similar to everywhere on the Oregon coast. The biggest stat that I always say is in Astoria, the northern Oregon coast, you're getting about 120 days of sun a year. On the central Oregon coast, you're getting about 160 days of sun a year. And on the southern Oregon coast in Brookings, the banana belt with the Chetco effect, you're getting about 190 to 195 days of sun every year. That is crazy. So if you just move 350 miles south from Astoria to Brookings, you're going to get 2 months more of sun. That seasonal stuff that happens to people, they're so affected by the gray skies and the rain and not seeing the sun, no vitamin D. That can be absolutely eliminated on a couple of those months if you just move south to Brookings. So from Newport to Brookings, it's 30 days, so it's not quite as bad, but it is still a big difference. And the weather, when it comes to rainfall, though, it's the same. So you're getting more rain in those days where it's not sunny. Now, that stat, I don't know if it's full sunny days or if it is partial sunny days. If the sun just pokes out in between the clouds, does that count? It doesn't really matter. I think, average annual rainfall is somewhere between 75 and 90 inches a year in Brookings and Newport. So you're getting the same amount of rainfall. It rains a lot. It is cloudy a lot. But in those summer months, if you're like a snowbird and you're coming to the Oregon coast and you're thinking, I'm going to come to the coast and I'm going to go from, let's say May to October. Perfect. Do it. It's awesome. That is going to be a perfect time because it might not rain for 90 to 100 days in a row. Last summer, I think it didn't rain for like 93 days in a row. It was just sunny. Now you have to deal with the wind, but okay, I'll deal with the wind. I'm getting vitamin D. I'm out there in the sun. I'll get behind a wall or get on this one side of my house that has the sun and no wind because it's blocking the wind, or I'll go down and sit behind a cape or a head area there on the beach where I can be fully in the sun without much wind. But when I talk about Newport or Brookings, what's the better one when it comes to weather? And I would say definitely Brookings. So in our conclusion, the winner of our Oregon Coast grudge match between Brookings and Newport definitely, in my opinion, has to be Newport. The go-to for marine enthusiasts, the mix of science, Hatfield Marine Science Center, the Oregon Coast Aquarium, NOAA, nature, the Yaquina River, the Pacific Ocean, culture, everything that goes in between, with plenty of attractions and a strong sense of community. I think you got to go with Newport, but Brookings comes in a close second. The appeal with the warmer weather, the warmer climate, the spectacular coastal scenery. It does have more of a laid-back lifestyle. I would just say, it's close, but I got to go with Newport. But this is all subjective. So what I want you to do is you go out there, you check out the different cities, you figure out what you want to do. And if you need boots on the ground, if you need help in any way, choosing between Brookings, Newport, or some other town on the Oregon coast, all 363 miles of the Oregon coast, I'm up and down that coast all the time. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, contact me. All my info is in the description. Let's get after it. My name is Eddie. And just remember, let's make this the best day ever.